How's it going, everybody? I'm Jay. And this is Bear. We're here with
Yo.
Paragon TCG, and today we're going to be doing some back and forth questions about the game and everything upcoming for us.
Yeah.
So, I guess since that all this is a kind of a quick Q&A, we can go in and start with a bunch of easy stuff. I'm going to actually start with when is the launch of the game, because I know this is something we're going to get into more, and we'll come back to this, but we do actually have a launch date.
Yeah. So we don't have like a solid date, but we are actually aiming for, I think it's like the 21st of October. I know it's the third week currently of October, is what we're looking at as the current launch. But we'll know more once we get our shipping notice. Like the big thing is once production's finished up and they say, "Hey, it's on a boat," we'll have that date. And then we can start letting everyone know when that fulfillment date's going to be. So, but should be in October.
Okay, sees what I know. I mean, I know that we have that locked in October. I'll be down in the area hopefully to do some launch stuff with you guys, and we can actually
Yeah.
get some cool content out. This is only stuff that we're doing from distance, so as much as we can do right now, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, there was a lot of questions that we were asked really, really rapidly, which is why we're doing this. And
Yeah.
I know you're not necessarily prepared for what order I'm going to do these in, but I think we'll try and
Nope.
keep them a little bit closer to the way that they were kind of asked. They
Sure.
wanted to know more things about how we worked on a lot of things. I'm just going to sort of vaguely say it all really quick, and then we can talk about it. They
Sure.
wanted to do the world building, the story design, and set design, and all that other stuff. Let's just go ahead and start with just how did we approach world building for Paragon, and how did we get to where we're at with the lore?
Okay. So it was a lot of fun. So we all come kind of from TTRPG backgrounds. So we do a lot of world building ourselves, a lot of like lore and things like that. So essentially for Paragon, it started out, how do we take something that would be like a tavern game, like this is a trading card game for your D&D world, and how do we bring it to life? And so we were very inspired by things like The Sword Coast, just your J.R.R. Tolkien, anything like that, essentially, as far as fantasy lore goes. But we wanted to run with it, and put our own spin on it. So that's when we started coming up with Paragons, the domains, which is something that Jay helped. Honestly, you helped pitch for that. It's just we kind of approach it from this large standpoint and then work our way down to what's going on right now. So each of our sets are designed around like a conflict. So that also kind of helps with the lore building. Currently, this is the Siege of Silkara, and just trying to figure out, okay, what story beats do we want to land? What are our introduction characters? We don't want to overwhelm people with too much, but we also don't want it to be too little. So there's quite a big band of characters for this first set.
Okay.
There's quite a bit of lore in this first set.
So that actually kind of jumps into a little bit that was also asked. How do we actually approach set design itself?
Okay, yeah, and weirdly enough, we come from a like we like seeing lore on cards, so it's one of those things where there are times when the lore will design like where the card's going to go, and there are times where the card design will help flesh out the lore essentially of what's going on. And I think we approach set design coming from a standpoint of what is fun, right? What's going to be like an entertaining ability on to put on these cards. We always try to design from a standpoint where instead of thinking about like, oh, this needs to be a certain power or this needs to fit a certain place, we're trying to design the card to be what it wants to be, and then essentially from there slot it in where it's going to end up in the set, which has been a lot of fun. It's definitely it was a learning experience from the get go. Of course, this is our first TCG that we've sat down and designed together as a group and things like that. But our background comes from playing trading card games. I'm sure Jay, you've played a plethora of trading card games. I know you have,
Oh yeah,
but
no, I mean, that's part of why I was brought into the team. I was brought into the team a little bit late, so for reference point, Bear is the main designer of the game. You come up with the lore, the story, things like that in connection with the rest of the team, which is quite a large team. Uh, I came in as the rules guy, so I came in to learn all the rules, help develop the mechanics of different things, and the that's kind of where I came in. But a lot of that comes from my judge experience with Magic the Gathering and Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh. Those are all things I've ran tournaments for, and also used to run a shop for. So I've been a part of that community for a really long time. So when I came in basically just to help lock down the rules, but ended up working on a lot of the card design and things like that with you, which obviously you're the main holding force for it all, though.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, it's one of those things where it's all collaborative. We really do all work together. But sometimes, yeah, it's just it has to come through, uh, and see if it fits into the full design. So it is true that it's like, yeah, at the end of the day, I do get that final call, but a lot of the time, it's so fun, like getting that like spark of like imagination from something that you guys are pitching and things like that. So you guys, everyone kind of on the team helped design the game to where it is to this standpoint, which is really cool.
Well,
I
thanks,
think we did
thank
a
you.
great job.
I
Yeah.
mean, I really loved working with the whole team. I didn't know that that was a thing that I was going to come in and actually do with everybody and do build some lore stuff and a bunch of the cards. But that was a lot of fun, and I'm really glad that I had that opportunity to do that with you guys. But you know, let's go ahead and actually talk about some
Yeah.
other things here really quick. I don't want to keep us here for infinite amount of time,
I know, I know.
but
I feel like we could talk about stuff forever, which
oh,
is
we
always so
could.
funny. But
Luckily, this isn't a video that I get to talk a whole bunch because if I had the chance to just sit here and talk about all the rules, the decisions behind different card balancing, that would be my specialty that I'd be locked in for basically hours for. But this is
yep.
basically, I do feel it's mostly for you. So we can go ahead and ask a little bit more about the initial development of the game. That's another question that they're kind of interested in. You answered that kind of on the entry into this thing. But I guess that could also mean a little bit more behind the scenes of like the actual process of stuff making the game.
Yeah, this was a journey. So Paragon started out as kind of like the brainchild of Chris and I, as far as like pitching what type of world do we want, what type of trading card games does this want to be inspired by, and essentially we kind of landed on Triple Triad from Final Fantasy as like the bare bones, like this is something that we would like. So the initial design did start very close to that, as far as playing like a single card per turn using the grid, which was at that point I think it was just a 3x3 grid. And it was one of those things where it was um very close to how Triple Triad would play. And then over time, we just have molded and changed and kind of introduced mechanics from other trading card games or other inspiration that we basically enjoy playing, and have molded it into what it is right now. And it's kind of neat to see the different iterations. One of those to start was turn counters. Actually, that was one of the reasons we brought Jay in, as he mentioned, was the rules. Like the rules were not landing exactly where we wanted them to be as far as play. There was a lot of times where there would be ties, or there would be a lot of times where it came down to just like a much longer play than it needed to be, essentially, just because of how the win went, or how you would win the game. And then, yeah, over time, we changed it to the Essence deck, which was a total interesting pivot. And I think has changed our game to be unbelievably unique, which is awesome. And then, as well as we split out instead of just it being like a counter that counts up for mana, turned into its own deck, which then allows us to have even more like in set two and things like that, where we're going to introduce more mana types and more things that you can do with mana. Yeah, so kind of just
Yeah.
it took a different form. Like if you look at it from when we started about what it's 4 5 years ago
Yeah,
now
it's you guys have been
to
working
what
on it
it
for a
is
long
now,
time. Yeah. I
it
came in
yeah,
about a year into it, right?
yeah, about a year
Yeah.
basically. I think you came in about, yeah, about a year into it.
Yeah.
Because
You were still kind of the 3x3. I think I might have came right at that time, right? Where you still had that as like a base design.
potentially, yeah. I think you came in when I definitely know turns were still a thing, as well as the mana system. So it's before we split out the mana deck as well as Essence. Yeah, you definitely were there before it kind of molded into what Paragon became. Still did
Yeah.
have mana, you weren't there as directly from like the straight triple triad. But yeah, you definitely came in pretty early on.
Yeah, I think the turns was a huge part that I started working on when I first joined almost immediately. And that was the thing that I started trying to figure out what is a unique win condition for the game and moving towards the rules of how those would work going forward.
And then Essence was born, and we never looked back.
True, true. All right. Well, the other thing that a lot of people wanted to know was how is production going, or I guess more in line of things about production and anything like special products or anything like that that we'll be bringing to the game when we go towards launch and further.
Okay. So production's moving along. We essentially went into production right near like the beginning of May, was when production started to really ramp up. And then now we're in like mass production. So we're basically getting everything printed at this point. Um, Everything's been going real smooth once we got into production. I know the longest part was getting artwork for a really long time, which set us behind. And then unfortunately, during that period of time, the tariffs hit, which was really rough for us. So essentially, we had to put it on hold until the beginning of this year when all of that got repealed. So that was lucky. And then essentially, we're now just in the thick of it. So production's coming along. We're getting samples, those physical samples, which I will be able to show off to everybody very soon. We'll be making a bunch of content with those. But as far as special products and things like that, so everything that was in the Kickstarter is what's going to be available for everybody. If you are a store, there's a store kit that you can request and get, which will basically include everything that you need to run your sealed events, draft events, your starter kit events, everything like that. And then everything else is, yeah, just whatever was available in the campaign, just our box sets for the starter kits, which comes with 3 decks, as well as the booster boxes, which come with 24 packs in there, and you might even get to hit a golden booster and all that great crazy stuff. So I can't wait for those to come out and see what people open and crack, because I
Oh
mean
yeah. Oh
that's
yeah.
one of the best parts of a trading card game. We'll also have playmats. I think playmats, of course, is going to be a lifeblood for us because we are a positional gameplay. So everybody is going to essentially need a playmat or have extra cards or things like that that they can lay down to make essentially the play area. We are also looking at some new stuff for set 2 and on, essentially after set 1 launches. Something that's been requested quite a bit is a 2-player playmat, so one that is large enough that you can just roll out and play with both players on the same mat. And so we're looking into making those. There will be some other special fun stuff down the line. I know the original Kickstarter we did had kind of like your old school Magic Fat Packs, or I guess they're bundles nowadays, or your Elite Trainer boxes from Pokemon. So we've thought about doing that style of product as well. So something that is kind of like you're in between a booster box and like a starter kit. So it's not necessarily like just a starter deck that you'll play, but it's not as many packs as what would come in a booster box, essentially.
Okay, yeah, that's quite a bit of stuff. Now I'm a little bit of a free agent goblin that's allowed to kind of go outside the box and do a lot of weird things. So Bear has already done some stuff with traveling and going to different events. I haven't gotten to do that yet, but it's something that I'm planning to do with Paragon as it moves forward, which means I'm going to also be making a few products since I've done artwork for a few of the cards. I want to bring some of that stuff to the conventions, which will be unique stuff, different from what Paragon itself is offering. So if you want to get some prints for me or signed copies of cards, or I guess if you want a custom playmat that I make, hey, with some of the official artwork as well, that'll be me. Also, I might be doing some unique one of the kind of artwork. I'm pushing really hard for getting special holiday promos for the game at some point.
I mean, yeah, I would
Yeah.
love, to me, like that's something that I feel like the team, like that we all kind of understand, is because we play so many trading card games and we know what we enjoy getting and things like that. It's just so easy for us to turn around and be like, okay, how do we make that for Paragon? Like How do how do I make these special promos that people are gonna want? And yeah, I think holiday promos would be awesome. Like I really want to do a holiday or like a Halloween themed like release or things like that. We've also talked about potential like secret layer style products. These would probably be more of a print to demand product, and less of the secret layer style. Um, but it would be one of those things where essentially you would get like a pack of special arts and things like that.
That's definitely something I'm really hoping we do a lot of things for.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
going forward, if you check on the Discord, every now and then I stir up trouble and just post things I'm not supposed to or that I haven't gotten permission for. So always join the Discord if you haven't. We're posting this, of course, on our YouTube and in the Discord, so a lot of you guys are going to see it there and know how much of a gremlin I can be. But moving
Yep.
forward, hopefully we'll have a lot more cool special stuff to share with you guys. And I can't keep my lip shut, so hopefully, I don't spoil too much going forward. But once we have stuff, we're going to talk about it.
Yeah. I can't
The
remember the person from Marvel that always spoils stuff, but you're like him. No.
it's just fun to talk about things, and
Yeah,
there's no
it is
NDA
though.
that I have to keep track of for that stuff. So
I personally love it. It's
I guess one of the things that they wanted to also ask was how are we dealing or customer feedback and engagement and other things that are part of the Paragon TCG sphere. And I'm not exactly sure how they were meant that question to be, but if you want to go ahead and interpret that how you want to.
well, I will say we do a lot of like play testing and things like that, especially with our set design. So for set one, oh, I hit my mic. But for set one, we put it up on Tabletop Simulator fairly quickly. We were allowing people to play and play test kind of just alongside our own internal play testing. And a lot of players' feedback and everything like that did help go in and shape the game into what it was, or what it's become. And it's because it's one of those things where yeah, it's always fun to hear how you guys interpret cards that we put out, right? Internally, we can play cards. We all come from different backgrounds. I come from like I would say more of a competitive background. I know Jay, you come from a more competitive background, so we can look at certain cards and think, okay, this is how strong this is going to be. But sometimes, yeah, people interpret those levels different than we do, and it allows us to take that feedback and mold it into kind of like balance patches and things like that. So,
Yeah, that was actually a thing that I was really glad that we got to do with the community was actually balance things as we played out a bunch of games, as we moved forward with the gameplay in general. It seemed like we got a lot of feedback from individuals who were just very passionate about trying to break different things. And we definitely saw some of those things coming. So we knew what we were expecting, what we were hoping for. And the community definitely found a few things that we didn't always necessarily account for. So there's been a ton of changes with the game in general, thanks to the community over the years. And as that's one of the things that I thought was nice about building so openly with everybody is that we got to really, yeah, just make the game what it is now. So
yep. And we're always open to feedback and things. So it's one of those things where, like, if there's more products or things that you guys would like to see, as I mentioned before, like the 2-player playmats comes from just people asking and commenting on these would be cool things that we would like to see. So always feel free to let us know what you're looking for, what would be cool, things like that. And yeah, we take all of that info. So it might be one of those things where, of course, we can't act on it immediately, but it is one of those things where we are constantly listening to you guys and seeing how we can improve, essentially.
yeah, I mean, I know we love talking to people as it comes up in the. I mean, you have a weekly stream that you actually do that talks with a lot of the community about things that are going on with everything. So if you wanted to catch more stuff, ask us questions live. That is an option. I'll make sure.
Yep.
Well, I mean, this is
It's
the Paragon YouTube,
it's
so
noon or it's 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time every Tuesday. We run about an hour. We do a lot of that's usually when I'll do any updates and things like that we talked about in the update that we post to Kickstarter, and then as well as any questions that people have or things like that. And we'll usually make a deck. So recently we've been messing around and making a bunch of like silly community style decks that you could run and have fun trying. I think this last time the chronometry deck was a lot of fun just because we were trying to how do you build a deck that's less creature based, right? I know our game currently, if you look at it from the surface, you think, oh, I need to pack my deck with as many creatures as possible. And that's just not necessarily the case. You can definitely win and completely dominate with only a single creature in your deck. But
Yeah, that might have been part of my dream to balance the game in that way, but I think there's a lot left to be explored when it comes to all the different cards that are out there and for things to do, and especially when we move into set two. I don't know if we want to talk a little bit more about our set release plans for. I don't know if you talked about when our next set will be, or how we want to move forward with those things, or if that's stuff that we're still working on. But
so I can mention, so essentially the way everything's going right now is so set one's about to come out, which is our main focus. So this will be the founders edition for set one. And then we are looking at essentially running a like a different like a batch essentially, which we're calling collector's edition at this point. I don't know if that's going, that name's not solid essentially, but what it's looking at is this will be a second release for set one that will also have some stuff for set two in it. So there'll be some promos, there'll be some stuff that you can pick up during that Kickstarter for set two. And then after that Kickstarter, we're looking at running set two's Kickstarter essentially. And this is to allow us to get all the funds and everything that we need for artwork. Mainly, I would say artwork because it is the most expensive part of making a trading card game. But yeah, essentially, this is going to just help us to start working on even like a digital version and things like that. Which is we have a lot of different things down the road that we are currently working at getting rolling essentially. So the next Kickstarter after this, yeah, will be like a collector's edition which so far is looking to be a kind of like a cube product, which will be you can get a set of the standard like framed cards. So it'd be like one card from like one of every single card in the set in a box, essentially. So if you bought three of those, you'd have a play set of every single card. And then collector's boosters, essentially, which would be kind of like your golden booster packs, but just like almost like how Magic does it but a little bit more just everything in there is just good stuff to open to bling out your deck essentially.
I'm excited for the one of everything, so that way a lot of people can easily get a cube and draft with their friends, because
Yeah,
that's
agreed.
something I'd want to do a lot.
Yeah,
But
we've talked about this before, but like our philosophy for cards is these are game pieces that people need to play, right? So if I can make sure to get you the base art or the base frame and make that like available and like just a way for you to get that so you can play, right? Where I feel like a lot of trading card games, there's usually certain cards that are just they're just so hard to get, right? No matter what you're gonna do, you're gonna be shelling out quite a bit of money to play standard or things like that. Where we're trying to figure out how do we make that available to as many people as possible. And then if you want to make your deck look pretty and bling it out and be crazy, then there's also products to help you with that.
yeah, no, that's I mean that's a really cool part of the our game and our philosophy, and even down to the point of us allowing the proxies online for people to print off and play with the
Yep.
tabletop stuff. Just we want people to be able to get a hold of it, play with it, and have it in their hands in any way possible. And of course, when it comes to actually getting real cards in their hand, we want to make that accessible and easy for people as well. So I'm just really happy that we're working on goals, that it is a game. Those are game pieces. Yeah, that's awesome. Also want to do a
Yeah.
quick small interjection of I'm of course I do some artwork for the game, but not only am I happy that we are paying artists what we are paying them and making sure everybody has what they need to survive and makes art for the game, but also that means that we are no AI, which is a
Oh
huge part
yeah,
of us. And
that is a
yeah,
huge part of us.
so yeah, just big no AI stamp on there. Important
Yeah, no,
to me
exactly.
as an artist, but I think
I
important to everybody here.
And I will say, especially in TC, like it is rarer and rarer, and I feel like it's gonna be even rarer and rarer to be a TCG that strictly is just all actual human-made artwork, right? Like, because it is the most expensive part of being a TCG, and it honestly is one of those things where it takes the most time as well. Like, I know originally when we set out to do 252 cards, I was like, okay, this won't be too bad, and it it was a lot. It definitely was a lot. Doing 252 art briefs, getting artists on board to do them, making sure everything's going through and keeps that design philosophy you like. It's quite a bit. So I know ultimately it is something that I'm very passionate about, and I'm very happy we do.
Me too.
Like artists bring a whole new level, right? I have this thing in my head of how this creature's going to look, and then I'll submit my art brief to an artist. They will get back me a sketch or something like that, and I'm like, you know, this is so much cooler than I ever thought it was going to be, right? Like,
Oh yeah, no, there's so many cards that I remember seeing that surprised me when we got them back from many of our talented artists. I was so happy to see a lot of those artworks, a lot of the uniqueness that came through in it. And I just want to see more of it, and I want to see more
same.
alternate arts and everything else that we get to bring to the game. So
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I think that's kind of where we can wrap things up for now. Of
Yeah.
course, if people want to just drop questions down below in the comments, post on the Discord if we need to do another one of these videos, or if we just feel like it's time to do another one of these videos. I think we can get one of these out for you guys. So just let us know.
Yeah. These are fun. And yeah, I thank you guys for watching, for supporting the game, and I can't wait till we are all cracking packs. So it's gonna be soon.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be addicted to that. I'm opening
Yeah,
almost all my boxes immediately.
I
So
know, me too.
that's so yeah, thanks for coming and hanging out. And you've already said where to catch you live, so I guess that's good.
Yep,
Right.
Paragon TCG on Twitch. So
Yeah.
yep.
Have a good night, guys.
Take care, everybody. Bye, you guys.